Coming up on Mountain News this morning, what to do if you get stranded in the snow. Plus, a look at pictures sent in by viewers of the snow in the mountains.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning and thanks for joining us. I'm Madison Carmouche. We're just past 5:30 this Tuesday morning. We're going to go ahead and check in with meteorologist Megan Desmall for a look at your forecast this morning. Megan, the snow, it's not as pretty as it was. We've got some melting out there, but it's still pretty dangerous to be out on those roads.
It sure is. There are some potentials for you to run into ice this morning. We had that rain, then we had that cold front come through, so any standing water could very easily have frozen, especially since our temperatures are well below freezing this morning. Another thing that you need to be aware of is the fog out there. We do have some visibility issues, especially as you're traveling towards Virginia this morning. Looking at half-a-mile visibility in Wise, 6-mile visibility in London. Just something to be considering if leaving the house is unavoidable this morning. We also do have some bit of snowflakes that could be falling this morning. This is just a remainder from the system that came through. We're on that backside of the low pressure and will continue to be clearing up for this snow in the morning hours. Now, those temperatures are on the colder side of things. Just another thing to consider, adding significant time in your morning to prepare yourself before you head out is definitely important. Madison.
We have new details about a crash in Wolfe County that killed 2 people, including a Letcher County man. That crash happened on Kentucky 15 on Friday. KSP says they received a call about that crash near Hunting Fork Road. Carl Osborne of Thornton was heading one direction on the roadway when his vehicle crossed into the path of David Lemus Castro of Lexington. Both men were pronounced dead at the scene. Another person was flown to UC Medical Center for chemical burns. In Laurel County, the sheriff's office is investigating a shooting. The incident happened Sunday near Wren Road. Investigators say 2 men were arguing about property when James Smith reportedly fired a shotgun. Officials say the pellets from the gun hit the man in the chest and face. Smith was charged with first-degree assault. A Wayne County, Kentucky man is facing charges after police say he threatened to kill someone and have a shootout with law enforcement. Police were dispatched to a home on Cedar Bluff Road Sunday due to a complaint about an intoxicated man with a gun. The man had reportedly fired the gun the night before from his front porch. Police arrested Jason Piercy. He was taken to the Wayne County Detention Center. In Letcher County, police are asking for help finding a car in connection with a motorcycle that was stolen. Police say they are looking for this vehicle on your screen, which was reportedly involved in the theft. The motorcycle was reportedly stolen at approximately 4 in the morning on Friday near Spring Branch Drive in the Jeremiah community. Here is a picture of the motorcycle. You can contact KSP Post 13 at 606-435-6069 if you have any information about the case. Despite the winter storm, Kentucky lawmakers are still expected to return to Frankfort this morning for the start of this year's legislative session. This year, it is a short 30-day session. Governor Beshear is encouraging everyone to wait until this morning to make the trip to Frankfort to give crews more time to treat the roads.
I've not heard of any changes to the legislative session. I know some advice was being given to travel up tomorrow morning instead of this afternoon. I would encourage that.
Lawmakers will meet this week, then take a break and reconvene in February. State and local leaders are urging people to stay safe. Yesterday, Governor Andy Beshear held a briefing to share the state's response. He says crews have been working around the clock to clear roads. He's urging people to stay indoors so crews can safely do their jobs.
Remember, the folks that are out treating the roads and trying to restore power, those are Kentuckians. They've left their family today. They want to go home to their family tonight. Remember, you being safe and staying inside makes them safer. If you have to be on the roadways, please go slow because their safety is in your hands, just like they are trying to make sure that all of us are safe.
Air temps will remain below freezing today through at least Thursday night. The governor says if you do not have power back on by Wednesday or Thursday, you might need to find a warming center. Several of those are open across the region. If drivers need to get out and end up stranded, state troopers have a few tips. Drivers should make sure their vehicle is equipped with an emergency kit because of possible long wait times. The kit should include everything from blankets to snacks. First responders may be dealing with a high frequency of emergency calls, and getting to a stranded vehicle could take time.
If people are out on the roadway and become stranded, they may be there for a little bit. The safest place for them to remain is inside the vehicle. Make sure their vehicles are topped off with fuel, and also make sure if they do become stranded that their exhaust pipes are free of blockages and obstructions.
If drivers are in a non-emergency situation, they are encouraged to call the non-emergency state police post 13 line at 606-435-6069. That ice could also pose an extra danger if you have to venture outside or try to shovel your driveway. Maggie Rickerby tells us how you can prevent a trip to the ER.
You start to shovel snow, your heart rate goes up, your blood pressure goes up, can make you at risk for a heart attack.
When clearing your driveway or sidewalk, doctors say it's important to stay aware of your body and stop shoveling immediately if you have chest pain. As temperatures drop, hypothermia and frostbite are also risks.
If you get wet is probably the biggest risk for hypothermia. If you know that you have to work outside, of course, wearing multiple layers.
One more health hazard to watch out for is icy walkways. Dr. Dean says the most common injury he typically sees in the emergency room during the wintertime is a broken wrist.
You slip, you tend to hold your arms out, and it can fracture your wrist. Elderly people are at risk for hip fractures, and we're all at risk for when we fall, hitting our head and getting a traumatic brain injury.
For Dr. Fox, the best prevention method is to stay indoors if you can and limit your outside exposure.
Well, the simple thing is don't go out on the ice. I mean, even if you're young.
During this storm in particular, Dr. Dean has seen a lot of people coming in with injuries from car crashes. There's a chance your pipes may freeze during the bitter cold. There are some things you can do to prevent a burst pipe. That includes making sure access to crawl spaces is closed off and keep a steady drip of water coming from your faucets. If your pipes do freeze, shut the water off. Then wait for them to thaw on their own or call a plumber. With Kentucky under a state of emergency, Attorney General Russell Coleman has activated the price gouging hotline. Anyone who suspects price gouging can report it online or by calling 1-888-432-9257. Thousands of Kentuckians are waking up in the dark. Around 35,000 people are without power. That's down from about 80,000 yesterday morning. Kentucky Utilities says it has more than 1,000 people working to restore power. They say some areas should be restored by 11 tonight. Pictures shared by Kentucky Power show the damaged linemen are responding to. Crews say fallen trees caused many broken electric poles and down power lines. They say about 1,000 crew members are working the outages, including the out-of-state crews. And don't forget to send us photos of the snow inside the WYMT First Alert weather app. We've already received so many great pictures of your snow-covered mountains. If you take a look at your screen, you can see using the link in this story on our website will allow your photos to be put directly on air. The pictures are coming in from counties across the coverage area, and it is so nice to see the snowfall before that freezing rain set in. Just ahead, a ring spotted on a star's finger stirs up rumors about a possible engagement.
And snow is back in the forecast. I'll have more up next.